Hey everyone, a Nerd Named Mark here, and it's time to go over episode 22 of Kamen Rider Gavv. Great episode. I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad we got some stuff resolved in a matter of a couple episodes. Nothing is really dragged out, because that was my concern. I'm not gonna say my fear. My concern was the whole Shoma and Hanto situation was gonna get dragged out and just milked, but it really wasn't. By the end of the episode, they're on the same page, which is, well, before that, even like the beginning of the episode, really. Um, there was a lot of theories where people were saying, "Oh, well, this Clonema is actually Shoma because he passed out. You don't see the two at the same time." And I'm like, it's plausible. That'd be cool, but we find out the reason Shoma passed out is a mental block because he wakes up in Dente's lair, and we find out that the Gochizos called him when they found him passed out, and Dente doesn't have a way to use a human disguise, which I find interesting. And so he did say he is a master of disguise, which included pulling a original live action Ninja Turtle Raphael by just putting on a hat and a coat, and he had a red scarf, and yeah, he said it's a good disguise. So we find out that basically the macaroons that he was eating developed a gochizo that ended up basically getting stuck in his red Gavv. And so Dente had to take it out, and he said it was a mental block because, as we know, in that time frame, he was stressed out with Sachika finding out that he was a Granute and the Kamen Rider. So yeah, it was all stress related. No, nothing. That's it. And I was like, okay, that's a good explanation, and I'm glad it was explained. And then he's scrolling through his phone and he sees the images of his doppelganger and everything going on, and he revisits those places and kind of keeps himself hidden. The best thing about this is, like, there was some action, don't get me wrong, but the drama elements in the story and character stuff is just, because sometimes when I watch a show, I'm like, man, I can't wait for some fight scenes. I can't wait. All this talking, all these conversations. I don't need this right now. I want some fighting. I want some punching and kicking, please. But with Gavv, I'm like, when the action's going, I'm like, this is good action. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I want some more conversations. I want some more pushing the narrative forward and character growth and these interactions with each other, especially. And I didn't even talk about it in the beginning of the episode because the last episode ended with Ram showing up to fight Bitter Gavv. The interactions with Hanto and Lakia, because he was about to actually, the fighting between Ram and Gavv were really good. I was curious about, like, and I know people comment on this, and it's not like, Mark, you can't take power scaling into effect when it comes to Kamen Rider. I'm like, well, this show's kind of handled it really well with how strong everyone is, where they are, and like when they're getting stronger, and stuff gets explained. So Ram basically going toe to toe, and he was going to take out Bitter Gavv. Let's be realistic here. He was going to, and Hanto interjected, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And then even Lakia says, he's like, well, I thought you were going to, destroy all Granutes. I thought you were going to kill them anyways. And, I like that how Hanto was handled in the last couple episodes, because he's, he went to go find Shoma because he logically thought about the situation. And then, after him telling Sachika, he went back to Sachika, and she kicked him out. She wouldn't even let him into her apartment, and she even said, I know Shoma. That's my fun-loving friend who lights up when he has delicious treats and just wants to help everybody. And she's like, she chooses to believe that, he's good. And also the fact that she realizes that Granutes can disguise themselves as humans, so I feel like she's like, that's not him. And that's kind of like the aha moment for Hanto, because now he's like, wait, yeah, that's not him, is it? And we get the resolution of the Hanto Shoma stuff already which I'm on board with. Like I said, I don't want it milked. Nice scene of them just talking, going over everything. Shoma explaining his lore and backstory. Hanto, realizing that, he was an idiot. And, they're on the same page now. One thing I like about this clone Shoma is, one, it's kind of a dick. But, like, in a innocent sense, because he's a clone and he doesn't really fully understand everything going on. And I did notice there's some mannerisms physically of how he acts that kind of mirror Suga a bit, like snapping the fingers, little, sentences here and there. And I'm like, how is that not a giveaway, especially with Hanto around, I was like, you really don't realize, like, he's acting like your boy, like your sign, like. Now that we have the resolution between Hanto and Shoma, my next thing is Hanto and Suga. Because when he finds out that indirectly this led to his mentor being killed because of the whole Granute thing, and he's working with Granutes, like, and when you realize he made the clones, and you realize he's basically in bed with stomach ink, even though he explains, I'll get to it in a minute, to Lakia that he's not on anyone's side. But the next one is basically Suga and Hanto. Like, that's going to be a good interaction when shit hits the fan between those two. And I was really curious because, we did get Dente back again, and I was like, man, I still feel like he's kind of underutilized. Like, I would have loved the scene many episodes ago, back with caking form, of him being like, hey, I made this cake and this thing's more powerful than the ones when I eat the processed snacks. Like, I would have loved some more science stuff from Dente. I mean, even if it was a scene of him, like, operating and getting the Gochizo out of his red Gavv. Like, also, speaking of the red Gavv, Shoma explains to Hanto that it's not a belt, it's attached to him, and Hanto's like, wait, what? Like, he's like, oh, so that's why they call you the red Gavv. So I thought that was really neat that, like, he's like, hey, look, lifts up something, like, it's not a belt, it's part of my belly. So yeah, that's there was a lot. And then so yeah, I'm really looking forward when Hanto and Suga finally, like, face off. I'm also really curious for when our trio, not Sachiko, Hanto, Lakia, and Shoma, finally chill and talk and have some brainstorming and some getting on the same page. Now like, for me, fighting. Oh, the fighting in this, like, this show in general has been just peak. Like, and I don't say peak isn't better than any other show. I say in the standpoint of, like, for this show, this fighting has been just not missing. And this time we got the 2v1, and I like how our clone Shoma just, like, eating so much all the time, just wrecking shop, going and taking out a truck with snacks in it. He was pulling a full Gremlins freaking one, just going through on some chicken. I was like, I saw that. He was crunching on the bones too. I was like, damn, you getting the bone marrow and everything? Like, I could put down some chicken, I'm not gonna lie to you. And I was like, that man was just a menace with that chicken. I'm really hung up on the chicken right now because I'm hungry. I'll eat after this video. I'll eat while I'm at it. Yeah, sounds good. But yeah, so I do like, while they're fighting, Hanto even points, like, I like how this Bitter Gavv has, like, quips and, like, retorts while they're talking and fighting. Like, at one point they're fighting and he's like, he's stronger than last time, and Bitter Gavv he's like, really? I thought so too. And it's like, sir, like, okay. And then, when they end up then it's like, what should we do? What do you think, Hanto? And Hanto's just like, a tactical combo, and then we got our donut form for Valen. When's the last time I think, outside of when Hanto was faking being kidnapped, was that the last time we got the donut form? I think it was. But we got caking donut form combo, and that was sick to watch. I would have never thought, now hear me out, you guys, from a combo fighting standpoint, caking form with donut, that Shoma would have used his caking sword to make a cream filled donut that would then fly around with the cream flying out, like propelling it and smacking into Bitter Gavv. I was like, that is very cool. I didn't think of that. I would have never thought like that'd be a cool combo from cream filled donut. Okay. Um, and they don't show. Well, we know he's not destroyed, but they do show the explosion of the, because like I said, with power scaling, they switch over to a final attack, which ended up being, I think it was Malin in his regular form, with Shoma going into the Varukan one, his big bulky one, which I'm always with the Gatling gun. I'm always happy to see that form. I love that form. Bandai, from the Soto standpoint, why have we not gotten that released? All right, I've been seeing all the stuff you're announcing. That's another story for another time. I talk about in This Week in Candy Toys a lot. And in the review that I did for the Candy Toys Wave 2 for Gavv, I have a lot of issues right now with how Bandai is releasing those and missing forms. We're still missing forms from Godchard, even though I dislike that show. We're not getting our big bulky mecha forms for some odd reason in Candy Toys, and I need them. But that was kind of neat from a power standpoint. It's like, okay, them doing a combo, the power of the Varukan, the big like lollipop like Gatling gun form. I like that certain Gochizo, certain power ups are used for situational, and I bring that up every couple episodes or so because you would think caking form stronger, but from a finishing standpoint, that is what got him. And Shoma, I don't know how he managed to fly over a railing about to fall in water. I really don't. That's confusing to me because he wasn't near the ledge. But Hanto catches him, and then the big cliffhanger. Once again, keep leaving these episodes with like, but not really it was a cliffhanger. A big reveal that leads into, okay, now we got to watch next episode, which I like. That's good. Keep us hooked. Keep us coming back every week. But, well, Hanto catches him, and while he's holding onto his arm, he has the flashbacks again, which we saw a hint of a younger Shoma with Hanto's mother. And when Hanto's pulling him up, he knocks a canister that falls in the water, and he has another memory flash of Hanto's mother falling into a liquid vat thing that's some sort of, I want to say like a test tube type thing, because you can see the glass and you can see kind of from the perspective of the outside of her in the water. And the episode just ends with Shoma saying, I remember what happened to your mother. I've seen her before. And I'm like, because I do like this whole memory thing for Shoma, because like he doesn't remember a lot, but he remembers certain things. Like he remembers, the birthday of the twins and all this other stuff. And so it's like this memory loss and gaps. We don't know fully where they are all placed. We know some of it has to do around Hanto's mother though. So obviously he was younger, but he still remembers, his mother going over all the snacks and the little book he made and her showing the drawings of the different stuff and the food from the human world. So I'm really curious to the extent of what time frame or what block of his life he has, memory loss from. But yeah, it was a good episode. Like I said, when we get these episodes that and I don't want to say the drama element of it, but I kind of feel like that's what it's the drama side of it, not the action side. Very cohesive, giving us enough where nothing feels dragged out, but also not giving us everything in one episode. Like, this is one of the few times where I'm like, okay, these part episodes where it's like a 2-part arc or 3 episodes, this and that, we always get resolution or information to one thing we have a question for, and then we kind of sprinkle some foreshadowing and then add some other questions, but it's nothing that's detrimental to the story where I'm sitting here like, man, why aren't they explaining this? This is getting kind of obnoxious. Like, I want to know already. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not having any of those thoughts or questions in the show so far. We are 22 episodes in. So, hypothetically, I'll say we're, like a third of the way through the show. If there's 40... Well, no, wait. Not a third of the way. I did bad math. I'm not editing that out. That was a full Scott Steiner, 33 and a third, man, 60 font. Like, that was bad. Because I'm at 66. No. So, we're just under halfway through. If there was 44 episodes, so even if there's like 48 episodes, we're getting close to the halfway point of the show. We're vastly approaching it. And I'm very curious how this show will continue its pacing, especially the story, because usually if you go by arcs, and usually like, we talk about it, friends, usually like, the first arc is done maybe outside of the introductory section, usually around like episode 16, 17, we start another arc, and then by the mid-20s to late 20s, that's an end of another arc. But right now, it doesn't feel like we're almost at the halfway point. Stomach Inc. is still arguably the big bad guys. It's not like in previous seasons, like with the Dead Man's, where it's like, oh, that ended, now what? Now it's all this other stuff. It's like, it's still keeping the same villains, especially right now with the fact that we're not getting a Granite of the Week. There's still now when you think about it, Stomach Inc. isn't really currently the immediate threat. It's this clone. It's Bitter Gavv and Suga pulling the strings behind the scenes. Whereas we have a lot of infighting. I guess that's the best way to put it. There's a little conflict within the Stomach family. And like I said, we still have a twin that's around, that's, brooding in the background. So there's like a lot going on in the show. And I'm hard pressed to say, like, I hope it continues on the path it's going. Like I said, I have no doubts right now. No writing on the wall that would make me think, oh God, when is this show going to fall off? Or when is the show going to get bad? Because the show hasn't given me anything to entertain that idea yet, or at all. So I'm not even gonna say yet, because that's saying that it would. But yeah, I really like this episode. Let me know in the comments below what you thought, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe. I thank you for everyone who's been checking out the content. I got some other stuff I'm working on. If you haven't already, I do have my Kamen Rider Driver video review up on the channel. It's the clear color. It's beautiful. I'm working on organizing some stuff so I can put some more drivers on display, and I'm working on other displays over there, so I got a lot of stuff. I'll probably do some YouTube shorts showing off different collection areas of my place and where everything is. But that's it for the video. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.